listen, we know it's a midnight league, and by that I mean deals don't get done until midnight strikes or 12:01 even. Like these business deals take forever sometimes, right up to the minute, last second to do. But it kind of feels like we're entering the midnight zone in August, when padded practices are being missed by players that are holding in or out, and then preseason games in which they might normally play, holding in or out. Like this is the time where things have to get done. When do we see CeeDee Lamb get done? He's got to get done, right?
I mean, they've made an offer. They've made an offer to him.
What, do we know? Is it in the realm of Justin Jefferson? Or
here's the thing. So CeeDee Lamb has an agent, Torrey Dandy, who's done a lot of wide receiver deals, and they're always 3-year deals. They're always short deals. The Cowboys' history is they do the longest deals, the longest extensions of anybody. Strong cash flow, but in exchange, they do 5-6-year extensions. I don't really foresee CeeDee Lamb doing that.
So that's the holdup, is the length of contract?
It's more about structure, from what I understand, than just the value of it. Okay. And those things happen, between different teams. Dak Prescott's another one. He's in camp. He's participating. He's going to be out there regardless. And, once camp begins, he kind of turns it over to his agent, Todd France, and focuses on football. I know that they would like to get something done with Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott has almost unprecedented leverage here. For however much leverage Kirk Cousins had last year, he was still a 36-year-old quarterback coming off a torn Achilles.
So then what's
Dak
I
quite possibly is going to be the guy with the most leverage of all time.
Of course, because he can't be traded, he can't be franchised, and if he goes into the season, he can then use the I'm not going to talk about my contract during the season and hit free agency.
And I think that's real. I think that if you get to week one and there's not been an extension, I think that he rides it out. And so the next month or so here is going to be important to see if they can find a pathway forward. It's gonna begin with a 6. I would be shocked if it's not $60 million plus. Maybe it's higher than that. And it might be a different structure, again, than we've seen in other quarterback deals, because the guy's got the leverage. If you're Dak and you played out your rookie deal where you were on a 4th-round pick contract and you're making the minimum in 2019, you played that out. You played out 2020 on the franchise tag. You suffered a devastating injury. You still come back and you get a new deal in 2021. Like, the downside for Dak Prescott is pretty minimal. Like, he's already gotten paid. And so now for him, I can afford just to wait for the exact right deal. And for the Cowboys, you have to figure out, okay, how do we get something done that makes sense for all parties here? It might be a shorter term type of a contract extension. It might be something, the fully guaranteed type of contract extensions here, just because that's the point at which we are with Dak.
So the holdup is what the Joneses are saying. What happened to that space between 55 and 60? Everybody's hitting 55 right now, from Green Bay to
the issue with the Joneses
Jacksonville.
is they've waited.
Well, I mean,
they've waited on everything.
But that's the way they do
their organizational
business.
philosophy, is kick the can down the road. And what that's led to is, with the wide receiver market, everybody now is getting upper 20s, 30s, 35 in Justin Jefferson's case. And in the quarterback market, everybody this offseason got 50 plus.
So what's the deal with Ayuk? And obviously they're one of the greatest left tackles in the history of the game, who's kind of waiting for an upgrade.
The Trent Williams one is unique because he's, pushing 40 at this point. He's looking for the type of upgrade that, like an Aaron Donald got, or even Matthew Stafford, who, if you broke down, because that contract finally got filed, and I got the full breakdown on it yesterday. If you look at Stafford's contract, it's not nearly as much of an overhaul as what Aaron Donald got from the Rams a few years ago. If you remember Aaron Donald, he had, I believe, 3 years left on his contract, and they put new money in, and it was like a true 3-year deal. With Stafford, they moved up money. He now has a $4 million guaranteed roster bonus next March. Basically, it's a 1-year, $40 million deal, because he gave up his guarantees in 2025, which you don't see very often. So basically, he makes $40 million this year, and then if Stafford decides to play next year, then they'll have a discussion and they'll have to figure out a new contract. So there's no way he's playing on this deal. With Trent Williams, it's probably something along those lines. Do they shift some money up to get something done? You're not going to do like a big extension with the guy. I don't want to put it past him. Maybe he can play till 45 because he's a rare dude, and he did take some miles off his body just with the time that he ended up missing in Washington here. But you're trying to figure out what's a fair type of a deal. Ayuk, the best thing that Brandon Ayuk has done for the past several months is not posting all the stuff he has on social media. It's just waiting. And waiting generally doesn't benefit the club. If you were looking at what the argument would have been back in March to do an Ayuk deal, then you look at all the other wide receiver deals that have gotten done, including DJ Moore yesterday. Ayuk now is I talked with one team person earlier this morning, not with the 49ers, but another team, because, listen, the 49ers are still getting calls. There's still interest in Brandon Ayuk. Nobody knows for certain which way this is going to go. And I said, well, what's the number on an Ayuk extension? 28? The answer I got was at least. I mean, it's going to be big, big money.
Well, it's going to be more if CD goes first.
And it becomes harder and harder then for the 49ers to get that deal done. So does that lead to Brandon Ayuk playing someplace else? What I could tell you, Rich, was before the draft, the price tag was really high on Ayuk. It would have taken a first-round pick, maybe more, depending where that pick was in the first round. When you're now talking about 2025 picks, you don't know for certain where a pick is going to land.
Right.
So it's probably a couple of picks in that case. You know, is it a couple, two second-round picks, something along those lines? It would have to be something really substantial. This is not the 49ers throwing up their hands and going, all right, forget it. You know, we're giving up on this. We're going to give the guy away. That's not what's going to happen here. If they trade him, they're going to get something significant. But there's enough teams with wide receiver needs. The contract is the least difficult part of this. For Ayuk, if he goes to a new team, it's more about what is that trade compensation.
I just don't know why the Niners, with a Super Bowl ready team, would just trade Ayuk away right now. Unless I don't know.
Unless you can get a receiver in return, unless you can use whatever flexibility you free up, because Ayuk's counting like $20 million on the cap right now.
Okay.
All of a sudden you've got additional money. Could you pull another trade? Could you get somebody as part of a trade?
But I guess. Okay.
There's a lot of different things. You have to get creative in these things. This isn't Madden, okay? It's not, hey, we're going to send you these 3 players for these 2 players.
Right.
It's more, yeah, you're exactly right, which is why would the 49ers say, yeah, all right, fine, we're just going to move on from a guy for picks next year that don't help us now.
Correct. When you can win a Super Bowl right here and right now, and as you know the clock, we're up against the end of the hour. I appreciate you coming here, sir, and letting us know. And then driving home after a great week of sitting in this chair. I really appreciate that.
I got my fingers crossed. I really think my flight's going to take off tonight to get me to Arizona.
We still have the minute plus on Roku, so let me finish my sentence here. Give me the name of a team that's got a receiver that's even in the realm of Brandon Ayuk that would flip with draft choices to get Ayuk and pay that guy as much as he wants.
That's the whole complicated thing.
Who's out there? I mean, you hear all the craziness out of Las Vegas. That Devontae Adams is in that realm.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a Devontae Adams. I think it's something that like we're probably not contemplating right now in terms of.
But John Lynch has that list on his desk.
Think of it this way: everybody knows who's available, right?
Yeah.
Because number one, you hear things through the grapevine, you get calls, whatever. But also, you can just look at the contracts. Look at all right, who's not going to be able to pay this guy? Who's going into a contract year? What potentially could we do? I wouldn't give you a single name. I would just say if a trade happens here involving Brandon Ayuk, it quite possibly be a team you're not thinking of just because of the unique dynamics around this.
Well, the problem is if you're looking around the league and you're looking for somebody who might be cap stressed because they got to pay their quarterback or left tackle and could use a wide receiver, that team's the San Francisco 49ers. You know? So the perfect answer would be pay him and keep him. Wow. Kind of crazy because then there's Jamar Chase that could go first in front of both of these guys, too.
Well,
and complicated.
And that's a complicated deal to get done as well because the Bengals don't like to do deals early.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern for free.